Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome back to our ongoing series of Star Wars commentaries with me and Isaac.
Hello.
And this time we are doing the fan favourite, and I mean that in a non-sarcastic way this time, The Empire Strikes Back. And once again we are watching the 2019 version of the film, just as we did with A New Hope. So make sure you've got the most up-to-date version of the film to sync with us. And without further ado...
If you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of Empire Strikes Back, put the film to the start and press play in 3, 2, 1, go. Now for this film, I'm going to read the opening crawl in the voice of Bane from The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This should be fun.
Yeah, I was going to say this could be brilliant. Okay.
Star Wars. Episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back. It is a dark time for the rebellion. Although the Death Star has been destroyed, Imperial troops have driven the rebel forces from their hidden base and pursued them across the galaxy. Evading the dreaded Imperial Starfleet, a group of freedom fighters led by Luke Skywalker has established a new secret base on the remote ice world of Hoth. The evil Lord Darth Vader, obsessed with finding young Skywalker, has dispatched thousands of remote probes into the far reaches of space, and they're hoping to flee. ...
Oh, brilliant. You nailed that weird accent he has. Oh, God. And we're giving back to you, the people.
And they're attempting to flee. What was Yzma's original plan in The Emperor's New Groom? I'll turn him into a flea.
Bravo.
Yeah. So I realised every film in the original trilogy, at least, they all open with a Star Destroyer, don't they?
They do, yeah. It's quite a nice pattern. Yeah, it's quite a cool pattern, and I think do the sequels do kind of a similar thing, don't they? Where they open on sort of a ship in front of a planet, like I'm trying to think.
Yeah, well, to be honest,
yeah.
I think every Star Wars film opens in space.
Oh yeah, no,
It's tradition.
yeah, of course. Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, like they're that, like in the Force Awakens, for example, where they have that cool shot of like the shadow on the planet and the ship. Yeah, it's
Now this was filmed in Norway, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and I think we spoke about last time. A lot of these shots were just literally done like on the day, like
Outside
last
the
minute,
hotel.
outside the hotel. It's like, Mark, can you run outside the hotel? Yep, cool. Okay, we got that shot. Let's move on. Because like so many of the crew were like snowed into the hotels and things, and it was a bit of a nightmare. But yeah,
I bet it was.
Now Mark Hamill does look different in this. He does look a little bit different.
He does, yeah. He does look. I know 3 years have passed, but he's kind of lost his baby face that he had from A New Hope. He does,
yeah, and I think a lot of that was due to the accident that he had as well. And it sort of his face does look a bit more grizzled, like you said. He's lost his baby face, and yeah.
I'm glad they keep the Wampa brief, because have you seen one of the deleted scenes where one of them breaks into the base? It looks like something from Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Oh, it looks hilarious.
It's pretty bad.
The arms don't move, do they? They
If
just
that was
they flop around. It's hilarious.
if that was actually included in the film, I guarantee that would have become a meme. Like,
Oh, it would have. Yeah.
when you're the perfect movie, but you have that one bit that brings you down. Because like the honest trailers put it best. They were like, what to nitpick here?
It's true.
Because
It's
they
very
literally
true.
don't nitpick anything out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because that's why it's my favorite. Because it is a complete masterpiece.
It
And
is. It is.
like any good sequel, it expands upon the mythos with obviously the twist that Darth Vader is not
Yeah.
giving it away for anyone who's not seen it.
Spoiler alert for a 41-year-old
To be
film.
fair, I actually, yeah, to be fair, I actually learned. I knew that Darth Vader was Luke's father because I had seen Toy Story 2 because they parody that.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
and, and also The Simpsons parody it as well because like all the James Earl Jones characters appear in the sky and Darth Vader says, "Luke, I am your father."
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's become such a sort of cultural osmosis thing. I think everybody knows it, even if they don't, if they've never seen Star Wars or anything, and everyone just knows
Yeah.
that twist. But it's always fun, like if you go onto YouTube and see like parents introducing their kids to Star Wars for the first time, and the kids have no idea. That's
Mm,
always fun because
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I think one of them, yeah, I've seen some of those videos. One of the kids literally says what Luke says, "That's not true, that's impossible." Something
yeah,
like that, yeah.
yeah.
hmm
And yeah, I mean, I've said this many times before, but it's very interesting to see how this is now a much loved film, and like you said, it's a complete masterpiece, and it's very well loved. But at the time, very similar to sort of the films we get today, it was very divisive, very controversial.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, don't think it went as far as the cast and crew receiving death
Oh
threats.
no,
But,
oh no, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, of
obviously
course,
because it was
yeah,
before social media and things like that. But,
yeah,
yeah, it was quite mixed because I think a lot of people felt, well, what was the point of it? There was no beginning, there was no end. It just happened, and
exactly.
everything ends in failure. But that's the point of it.
That is the point
I
of it.
think
Yeah,
when Return of the Jedi came out, I do think its reception improved a lot
yeah,
because they'd seen the third film. Everyone was like, oh, so that's why that needs to happen. Yeah.
yes,
hmm
exactly, yeah, and it's and you can find like reviews from the time giving it like 2 stars and things, and like you say, a lot of the criticism was, well, it's directionless. There's no structure to it, and yeah, it's interesting
Yeah.
to see how much it's loved now, and rightly so.
And
But it's yeah, it's interesting.
it's very interesting. It has got an interesting structure because the big grand battle happens in the first act, the Battle of Hoth, whereas A New Hope and
Yeah,
Jedi, they obviously saved their battles for the final act. And heck, the final battle in this is literally running up and down corridors from stormtroopers and a sword fight. That's all it is, really.
yeah, exactly. There's no. This is yeah, like you say, it's
hmm
interesting how it progresses, and it's really, you know, a lot of the film is on the run. Really, you've got you've got
hmm
the whole stuff with Luke and Yoda on Dagobah, but like spending time with these characters literally on the run,
hmm
and but the whole middle section of the film is just an extended chase sequence, basically. So yeah,
hmm Yeah, because I compared this. You could compare The Empire Strikes Back to kind of like what Lord of the Rings was to The Hobbit in terms of the original book, because the original Hobbit book is a very simple tale. A New Hope is a very simple film, but it's the sequels that expand upon it. For example, like
yeah,
you can compare the One Ring and Darth Vader with each other. In The Hobbit, the One Ring is not the One Ring of Sauron. It's just a ring that can turn you invisible, and it's very handy when you need a Deus Ex Machina. But
yeah.
yeah, obviously in Lord of the Rings, Tolkien expands upon it and makes it the most important thing in the world.
Oh yeah, of course, and there's yeah,
Um, uh,
it's
and with Darth
And you've got Darth Vader, who was pretty much, the Empire's most feared person, and now he's got humanity at the end when he's revealed to be Luke's father.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this really deepens Darth Vader's character. I think we spoke about last time that the first one, he's not. He just looks cool,
Yeah,
and that's
because
really his character.
yeah, yeah, because Empire Strikes Back is Vader's movie as him
Oh
being the
yeah,
main villain. Because
yeah,
in A New Hope, it's kind of Tarkin, and in Return of the Jedi, I'd argue it's the Emperor who's the main villain.
yeah. No, I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is Vader's getting down and dirty. He's at his best. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what did you think of those
And in terms
special?
of
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to mention the special edition. I think
Oh yeah,
this has the least amount of changes to it because it's the most perfect one.
yeah. It
I'd say
is.
my
Yeah,
biggest criticism is Boba Fett's voice change because the original just sounded so much more sinister.
it did. Yeah, and yeah, there was no reason to change it. It's just there to tie it
Yeah.
to the prequels again. It's just it's one of those things that is just now
Hmm.
that's canon now, I guess. But it is a shame for sure. Yeah. But interestingly,
Hmm.
those the Wampa editions actually. What do you think of those?
I'm not too fussed about them because they don't look too out of place. Because
No.
yeah, that seemed to get criticism, and that never really bothered me.
Yeah, me neither. It's I think before, like, the reason the original is so effective is it's the Jaws thing of, like, you don't see the monster, you just see glimpses
Yeah.
of it and stuff. But I don't mind seeing it at all. It fits well with the rest of the footage, and I think in this version that we're
Hmm.
watching, the 2019 version, it's even better because the footage is
Yeah.
it's color corrected a lot more nicely than the other versions, so it fits in even more seamlessly. And
Yeah, because
yeah,
the 2011 Blu-ray, because I watched that a lot. I just remember this Hoth looking really blue, whereas this
oh
looks
yeah,
more
blue,
white
yeah.
and grey, and it's way more atmospheric, I think.
Oh yeah, and white and grey was how it looked originally. That's how it should look. But yeah, like you, for some reason in the
Yeah.
2011 one, it was just this horrible, weird blue color. It was really odd.
Hmm.
And Dagobah had that as well. The
Yeah.
Dagobah scenes on the 2011 cut were very blue and yeah,
Really green. Yeah.
yeah, blue and
And
yeah.
and funnily enough, this is considered the best Star Wars film, and it's the one where, if you don't count the sequels, of course, it's the one that George Lucas had the least amount of involvement with.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it was very much sort
Obviously, he
of
came up with, yeah, that's why I think the Star Wars films work best when you've got George Lucas, when he's coming up with the story and you have other people writing out the dialogue and the action.
yeah, and
Yeah,
I completely agree. Yeah, and on
because I
this like you
think
say, yeah, yeah,
because he came up with the story, but it was Lawrence Kasdan and Lee Brackett
yeah, Lee
who wrote
Brackett, yeah.
out the screenplay.
Yes, it was, and
Hmm.
I think that helps a lot. And this one, he seemed very much willing to let Irvin Kershner just do his thing. I think, and when you get to Return of the
Yeah,
Jedi, that becomes a bit of an issue because Return of the Jedi, he was a bit more hands on. Like, he was a bit more sort of breathing down Richard Marquand's neck a little
yeah,
bit. Um, yeah.
yeah. I don't know much about Richard Marquand. I know he died in what, late 80s, whereas Irvin Kershner I think died 2011, something like that. But I
Yeah,
know Irvin Kershner, wasn't he George Lucas's basically his lecturer,
he
something
was.
like
Yeah,
that.
he was. Yeah, so it was a proper case of yeah, you
Yeah,
could do
that's
it.
cool.
It is really cool. And Irving Kershner actually he really liked the and approved of the special edition of Empire. He really liked the changes, whereas
All right.
Richard
Hmm.
Marquand never got to see it, which is I think Return of the Jedi is my least favorite for the
Yeah.
changes because it just feels so unethical because Richard Marquand never got to sign off
Mm,
on them or approve on them in any way, whereas Irving Kershner was happy with them.
mm.
So yeah, Yeah, it's quite.
I'm willing
Yeah,
to bet if this came out today, there'd be so many people moaning
yeah,
about when did the original ever establish that Jedi can come back as ghosts?
yeah. There
Ugh,
would, yeah, and
this
and
goes
there'd be,
against
yeah.
like that certain tweet that went around the other day about you know who.
Oh
Ugh,
yeah. Ooh
yeah,
yeah. No.
Doctor Who fans will know what we're on about.
Yeah. If you're a Doctor Who fan and have been in the Twitter sphere at all over the last week or so, yeah, you'll know
Yeah,
what we're
because
on about.
I saw a video the other week that was about defending the Last Jedi, and they came up with a great argument for canon. They said canon is whoever owns the intellectual property to
Yeah.
that franchise. They decide what canon is.
Yeah.
It is up
Exactly.
to them. They can
Exactly.
do what they want with it.
Yeah. I mean, and like there'd be people today as well going, "Oh, Han couldn't use a lightsaber. It's only Jedi's that can use a lightsaber." Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's that's the kind of thing that we get today, and I've said before, this
yeah. I mean, it's
has
like picking up a gun. Yeah, I'm not.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like picking up a gun. I'm not a police off. It's like saying only police can carry guns. And, well, yeah, they can, but anyone can pick up a gun and use it.
Exactly, yeah. No, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely right. And I've said before many times that this does have a lot of similarities to The Last Jedi in many, many ways. Yeah.
mm, I know Roger Ebert gave it 4 stars, I think, and I think Gene Siskel did as well. Because
Yeah, yeah.
this came out the same year as Superman 2, actually, as well. Another sequel,
It did, yeah.
another second movie.
Well, yeah, Superman
And
2
both
in
Jedi and
some.
Superman 3 came out
They
at the
did, yeah.
same year as well.
I've never thought about that. That's interesting. And obviously, because Star Wars and Superman and James Bond are of that era where they were all had very British-based crews, and
Mm,
frequented a lot of the same studios and things. So yeah,
hmm And of course, we're coming up to that moment. Leia is my
yeah.
sister. Oh.
I am shocked that they never removed this from the special editions. I'm shocked that this is still in the film.
Yeah, I'm surprised George Lucas did not remove it
Yeah,
because I thought he would have.
same, same. I would think that would be one of the first changes, but no.
uh, uh, yeah, just end it with Han's line there, like end it with
Yeah,
Han's line there, and then cut that out.
yeah,
uh,
exactly. And it's Luke's face as well of him like putting his arms behind his head, and it's
oh
just
god,
like,
he's like,
oh
yeah.
yeah, boy.
Uh,
Oh no, yeah, it's
well, we
it's
mentioned
great.
it in the last film, doesn't Han say, "Hey, the princess, you think she likes me" or something like that? And
Yeah, yeah,
the way Luke responds, it's like they're competing.
exactly. So setting up a love triangle. It's, where do you think? You think a princess and a guy like me? No, you know, it's and
Well,
yeah,
apparently, yeah, one of the original ideas for the third film was that Luke was going to search for his long lost sister or something like that. So
mm,
maybe he didn't.
yeah.
I'm not sure because George Lucas, he comes out with so much saying, "Oh, I planned this all from the start." Of course, you did.
Yeah, well, yeah. The original trilogy is very much clear that it wasn't planned from the start, and that's okay. That's not.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's not a criticism at all. Um,
hmm Yeah.
yeah,
And of course, we've got the Imperial March coming up here. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
I always forget that it comes in this film because I think you said last time. I always think it's in the original as well, but yeah, this is where it's born.
Yeah, no, the original just has the
And
ba 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 and that.
and it ups and it ups the ante because I think in the first one we only saw like one Star Destroyer at a time, but now they're like, oh, you thought that was cool? Here's loads of them, and then of
Yeah,
course the shadow coming over the regular Star Destroyer, and that's Vader's command ship. It just
yeah,
it visually shows to you the Death Star may be gone, but the Empire is still around.
exactly.
They're
You
back
think
badder than ever.
the Star Destroyers are big. Here's the Here's a Super Star Destroyer, and it's massive and
Yeah.
completely dwarfs the others. It's brilliant.
hmm Now I've got two actors from Doctor Who in this. Michael Sherd as
Yeah,
Admiral Oswald, I think that's his name. And
Ozzel.
actually, they're both there. And General Veers, played
Yeah.
by Julian Glover,
Yes, yeah.
who I've met Julian Glover. He's really nice.
Yeah, I need to meet him actually.
hmm
He's one of those actors, very much like Dave Prowse was. He's one of those actors where every time I'm at a convention, he's usually there, and I always go, "Oh, I'll meet him next time."
Yeah.
And I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, he was really nice. I think I've mainly chatted about Doctor Who, and I think he signed my. There was a Crusade picture there of him as King Richard and next to
Oh,
the
nice.
First Doctor, but there was nothing from City of Death there, which was a bit of a shame.
That's quite surprising,
But
actually. Yeah.
he has been in so many popular franchises: Doctor Who, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, James Bond, Game of
Oh, yeah.
Thrones, Harry
Oh,
Potter.
he's
He
got
has been
his
in so much.
he's got his fingers in so many pies.
hmm
Like it's brilliant, and he's great in everything. Like, because he's only got a minor role in this compared to
hmm
some of his other famous roles, but he's still great.
Yeah. And also, Kenneth Colley plays Admiral Piet. He's the only actor who plays an Imperial officer who comes back in another film because he comes back in Jedi. And
Yeah, yeah.
Monty Python fans will recognise him as Jesus Christ from Life of Brian.
It's mental to think that this is the only interaction these two have in this. This is the last time they see each other for until Return of the Jedi.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can remember Force Awakens getting complaints that Luke didn't interact with anyone, of course. But yeah.
It's the last time they see each other until God knows how many years after.
Jabba's Palace, something like
Jabba's
that.
Palace. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. See, I can't watch this scene because I think of that really famous YouTube video where it's Comscan has detected, and Vader moves back into his into his little shell. He's like trolling him. That famous YouTube video.
Plus, his voice sounds a lot deeper in this, and his armor looks a lot shinier. Like
Yeah,
the original costume did look a bit dirty, and it's looked like they've really given it a nice polish here. And the red
yeah,
tint in his eyes has gone as well. They're black.
yeah. They're completely black now, and I think that speaks to kind of the ratty nature of the production in the first one, and where it was very much like by the seat of their pants, like
Mm,
really like rough around the edges,
yeah.
and this is very much he's got an upgrade. He looks more threatening in this. I think he looks bigger. He looks more intimidating physically. The mask is a lot more sort of
hmm
fuller and full on. It's yeah. But to be
This
honest,
film reminds me so much of how short Carrie Fisher was.
oh yeah, she's tiny. She's so, and especially in
Yeah,
this scene as well.
because she's got so many scenes, and because she's got so many scenes with Han, it just really shows. Because
Yeah,
Harrison Ford's what 6'2", something like that.
Yeah, and yeah, she's so small. Yeah, and I think it's in
No
the
matter
Force
what,
Awakens as well. You can see it because she's older in that, and
yeah,
yeah.
and no matter what Battlefront you're playing, Hoth is always the best map, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Whether it's the
It's always realised
yeah,
so well. I think it's always my favourite map to play.
yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Does beg the
Why are they
question.
flying directly to the Star
I was
Destroyer?
just gonna say that. Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
why do they fly directly
like
on? Yeah.
go. They need to. This guy Dak who says, "I feel like I could take on the whole Empire myself." That needs to be a poster on the Rebel Alliance. This guy thinks he can take on the Empire by himself. Don't be a Dak.
Yeah,
Because he ends up. Cause I'm sure he dies in this, doesn't he?
he does. Yeah, yeah. This is really well done. Like seeing
Yeah,
him in the distance, like out of focus and stuff.
and
This is really well done.
later when you see the rebels run away and they're on the horizon, it looks so seamless.
Oh yeah, it does. It really does.
Mhm.
And the score sounds so much more polished in this one.
Mm. It does, yeah. I'd say even on the Lego Star Wars, Hoth is still a fun battle
Oh, it is.
because
Yeah, yeah,
they keep that detail in. You can't shoot them because the lasers just bounce off the armor.
yeah,
So you've got to tie them up, but then you've got to drag that red bomb thingy to blow it up,
yeah. You
which is
do. Yeah,
annoying because then they can get back up again.
yeah. It takes a few tries before you sort of suss out how to do it. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I mean, in terms of imagery, this is so like this is some of the more iconic imagery out of the whole franchise. Like I think everyone knows the AT-ATs or the AT-ATs.
Hmm. Yeah. For years, I actually thought the AT-ATs were the ATSTs, so I'm a
Yeah.
fake fan. Yeah. It irritates me in the new Battlefronts that you can't just, jump into like, an Imperial Walker or a Snowspeeder at will. You've got to grab those token thingies. And even
Yeah,
so, you're only
yeah.
in it for a short time. That's so annoying. Like, let people play how they want.
Same, and it's wish I why it's why I wish that there was a kind of single player mode where you could just dick about and do whatever you want, like a sandbox mode,
Mm,
because that would be so much
yeah.
fun.
Hmm. Oh yeah, Wedge appears in all three films, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Hmm.
and this is really pushing the effects to their limits, like the model work and the opticals and everything. Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it looks fantastic.
it does. Yeah,
Yeah, it's 40 years old, but it has not aged a day.
not at
kind of
all.
like Terminator 2, and yeah, I'd say the three films I point to that haven't aged at all are probably this, Terminator 2, and Disney's Pinocchio. Like, they look like they were made today.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. In terms of just being completely, yeah, yeah. Although I will say, I always wondered why they didn't in the special edition update the hologram of Darth Vader in the Walker we saw quite a while ago now, because it does look a lot more sort of
Hmm.
glitchy than the other holograms in the saga, and yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, this whole film is literally just failure after failure, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. And at first act, the rebels get defeated. End of the second act, Han and Leia get captured. Then at the end, um, Luke loses a hand, and Han has been lost to Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, it's certainly not the joyful punch the air that the first film was, and this is now this created a whole term for sequels that are darker than the original. Everyone always
That's
says
true,
now,
yeah.
yeah,
And it kind of set the standard of the second of a trilogy always being the best.
yeah, it did, it absolutely did, yeah, and
Yeah.
because what does everybody say now? Like, what
Uh,
Infinity War comes out and everyone goes, "It's the Empire Strikes Back of the MCU." Every time a big film comes out like that, it's always called the Empire Strikes Back
I'd
of whatever.
argue, yeah, I'd argue it is because Infinity War and Empire Strikes Back, they're both very similar
They
because
are, yeah.
all the characters fail. Yeah, and even Thanos has been compared to being a 21st century Darth Vader, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I certainly think that'll be the case. I certainly think Thanos will become one of the iconic villains of cinema as the years go on. Because he already kind of
Well,
is. He
he's
already
already
kind of
got his
is.
own. He's already got his own Wikipedia page.
He has, yep. he definitely has.
In fact, I've noticed in recent times, maybe it's just quarantine, but nearly all like iconic fictional characters in films, even if they're based on comic books, they've now got their own page. For example, Superman from the 1978 film series has got his own page. Batman from 89 to 97, he's got his own page. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy has got his own. The Batman from the DCEU, it goes on. Yep.
Oh my god, okay, well, yeah, I think it's just people having a lot of time on their hands.
Yep. I mean, I'm glad they have because it's nice to have their own page instead of a small section in character history or in other media.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hmm. Funnily enough, the 81 re-release of Star Wars came with the subtitle Episode 4 A New Hope, and this was the first one to use the episode title on its original release, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And people must have been very confused.
Wait, what happened to 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Or if they thought Star Wars was supposed to be number 1, they'd be like, hang on, what happened to 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah. Oh,
But
have I missed something?
again, Luke. Yeah, but again, Lucas, stands by the fact, oh, I planned this all from the start. But
Yeah.
the first drafts for this film were going to be called Star Wars 2, not Star Wars 5.
Yes, yeah.
So,
And I'm sure I've seen one
yeah.
somewhere where it was called Star Wars Episode 2. So I'm sure that
Ah, okay, yeah.
yeah, so I'm sure that was
Hmm.
yeah.
And also, what I like about the cast of the original trilogy is that, I mean, Mark Hamill even said, when I got the script for the original Star Wars, I could tell it to all my friends and pass it around because nobody cared. No one knew who we were. No one would care about it. But he said with this film, there was so much more secrecy because
Yeah.
obviously he was told the twist at the end. Because only I think before the premiere, a couple of people knew the twist, and that was George Lucas, Irvin Kershner, Mark Hamill, and James Earl Jones.
Yeah, because Dave Price was told to say Obi-Wan killed your father, wasn't he?
He was, yeah,
Yeah.
and Irvin Kershner told Mark Hamill what it really was, but he said, ignore what he says about Obi-Wan killing your father. Act like you've heard I am your father.
Yes. Yeah.
But that could have been, honestly, an interesting twist. Obi-Wan killed your father, him not being the wise wizard that we thought he was, who was very nice and humble. What if he did have a dark past?
Yeah, exactly. For sure. And
To be honest, there is truth in that because he did cut his arms and legs off and leave him to burn to death.
well, yeah, very, very, very true.
Even when James Earl Jones read the script of I Am Your Father, he said, no, that can't be right. He's got to be lying.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's very much one of those things where it's like the actors were sort of playing second fiddle to the writers, kind of.
Yeah.
They were
Harrison,
yeah.
at the premiere, Harrison Ford, when he saw that, said to Mark Hamill, hey, you didn't fucking tell me that, kid.
we'll talk about it later, but this was the era where Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher especially were proper party animals. They were doing all sorts of drugs during this. Also, and there's a bit later on where I think where they arrive at Cloud City, where they the night before had been at a party at Mick Jagger's house, and you can see it in their faces.
Oh wow!
There's especially like Leia.
It's like
Leia smiles at one point, and you can tell that that's a smile of someone who is both still high and hungover at the same time. Like
it's like Castrovalva with Matthew Waterhouse. Like towards the end when they're running back towards the TARDIS, you can just see the green in Matthew Waterhouse's face.
Yeah, didn't
I think literally after that take, he went behind a tree and vomited.
I was gonna say, yeah, didn't he throw up?
Yeah,
like,
he
as
just
soon
went.
as they stopped.
Yeah.
Because of course, this is where Carrie Fisher's addiction to cocaine was starting. I think because that was kind of
it did happen. Yeah. Such a shame.
Because I think in Return of the Jedi, you can see she's wearing a coke nail, like really obviously at one point. Yeah, it's like ooh.
You're not actually going into an asteroid field. Well, it's either that or we go into the strawberry fields. From Family Guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the Beatles. Hey, you know what I'm getting into? Is one-legged chicks. Yeah, Paul, what's your new wife's name, Peg? That'll be enough of that, lad. How about Eileen? Ringo got it.
Oh, God.
They should have got the Beatles in this and just said, look, fellows, it's Leia in the sky. No diamonds, though.
No diamonds, though.
Leia in the sky with diamonds.
So yeah, like quite famously, one of these asteroids is a potato.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that they chucked.
Yeah, it does look like that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's not really a space battle, but what I like about this is the fear of crashing, which
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they really try and replicate until The Force Awakens when Rey and Finn are stealing the Falcon from Jakku.
Oh yeah, because you get the whole, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't,
Hmm.
and yeah, because really, again, this comes back to the whole thing when they're on the run the whole film, and
Yeah.
they're really not trying to shoot any of the TIE
Hmm.
fighters. They're just trying to outrun them and pray that they hit one of the asteroids
Yeah,
before they do.
yeah. Funnily enough, I kind of had that reaction when I was a kid when I first saw this because I was like, "Oh God, stop chasing and do something." I was like, I think I even said, "Oh, in the original, you were shooting at them from the lasers. Why can't you just do that?"
Yeah.
That was me as a 9-year-old being very impatient. Because yeah, I remember turning Empire off and thinking, "Well, that sucked." Honestly, I didn't like it
Oh
very much when I was
really?
9. I
Interesting.
was drawn
Yeah.
more. Yeah, I was drawn more to the. I was probably drawn more to Return of the Jedi because I think it was more visually colourful and it had the Ewoks in it. Yeah,
Out
and
of the
those weird
original
creatures
three,
in
yeah,
Jabba's palace. So yeah,
yeah,
I
same
think
here.
that's what I like most about it. And I think it was the first of the original trilogy that I did see because I think I first saw it on ITV.
Same here, yeah. Like that was very much for me that out of the original three, that was the one I was drawn to the most because, like you say, just because it was the most like there were so many creatures and weird things in that, and like whereas this is a lot more sort of
Hmm.
subdued and actually I remember as a kid reading a TV guide, and I remember seeing that their little write up about Empire being shown was this Star Wars film is the one that has the least action out of the six, and it was just like, oh, really selling it
Ah,
there, guys.
it kind of does when you think about it. Yeah, it probably does have the least amount of action in it.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
Because
because
obviously the
yeah,
big set piece is in yeah, biggest battle is the Battle of Hoth, which is what we've just had. Whereas, A New Hope, it had a lot of shooting up and down corridors, which is really what you want to see, and it has two space battles in that. So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and Jedi has three climaxes going on at the same time.
Exactly, and like you said, that this one we've already had the big set piece, and really the like you said that's basically the climactic battle, and it's in the first 20 minutes of the film. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's interesting how this keeps things personal. Yeah, it's yeah.
Hmm. We need a special edition of Shrek coming up and saying, "What are you doing in my swamp?
Oh
I
god,
put up signs. What do I need to do to get a bit of privacy?"
it does look like Shrek Swamp, really, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. In fact, that in the first film where all those fairy tale creatures are dumped in his swamp, that's a jab at Disney for
It is,
basically
yeah.
getting rid of at that period of getting rid of fairy tales and doing more action adventure films.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the whole film is meant to be a big middle finger to Disney, isn't it? Because it's produced
it is.
by Jeffrey Katzenberg, who ex head of Disney was
Yeah.
not very popular, and he was a bit of a dick. Very
Yeah.
much not a nice guy.
Hmm. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, not now. Okay. Yeah. As much as I dislike Family Guy now, I do really like their Star Wars parodies. They're a lot of fun.
Same here, yeah. I think the first like 5 seasons of Family Guy are really good, or 4 seasons
Yeah.
maybe, because that first.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
I'd
that
say
first.
5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah, 5. Because that first initial run is great, and then the first year or two after they
Mhm.
came back, after they got cancelled, is brimming with creativity and obviously unused scripts from the
Mhm.
first 3 years. And yeah, after that, it just
Mhm.
starts to become a bully, really. But like you said, the Star Wars parodies are great.
Yeah. Mhm. And that confirms right there that Darth Vader is not a robot.
Yeah, yeah, it must have been quite a big revelation at the time because, like I said, we really don't know much about him from the first film, and then seeing that in this adds a
Mhm.
lot more to the mystery. Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
and it's shots like that really why I'm surprised that this is a U, because that's pretty. It's a
It
pretty
is. Yeah.
gruesome makeup effect.
Mhm.
I always think of these scenes
That's
where
quite. Yeah.
I always think of these scenes when I watch Doctor Who and the Silurians, because in that story when he's frightened to death. What's made him like this? Some kind of fear. Well, I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
Now, for Yoda, George Lucas apparently wanted Jim Henson to puppeteer the character, but I think he was
Yeah,
unavailable. So, they obviously went with the next best choice, Frank Oz.
the wonderful Frank Oz. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think Star Wars and the Muppets. There's that episode of the Muppet Show where where Luke Skywalker comes on,
there
and
is. Yeah,
yeah, I watched that the other week. Really, really fun.
yeah. Is that a season 4 episode, something like that? Because I've
Season
actually
four,
got
yeah.
the first 3 seasons. I've got the first 3 seasons on DVD, but I don't think Disney ever put out season 4 and 5.
They didn't know that them adding them to Disney Plus recently is the first time they've released them, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
it's a
wow.
shame. It's a huge, and a lot of it was because of the rights issues, and that was why I was shocked that they managed to get them on
I
Disney Plus
bet.
at
Yeah.
all. Because there are some on Disney Plus that are missing
Hmm.
simply because they couldn't negotiate the rights. But like 95% of the show is on there, and I'm shocked that they've managed to get that much on there. Because it's that the Muppet Show is
Hmm.
properly like a mess of rights issues and stuff, and yeah, fair play to them for
It
like
is. Yeah.
renegotiating that.
I mean, I can remember there's an episode in season 3 where Big Bird and I can't remember the season, but I know Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street come in for a
Yeah,
guest appearance, and
they do. Yeah,
would not surprise me if those episodes aren't on there or on Disney
yeah.
Plus.
I haven't checked. I think the ones that are missing are like ones
Hey,
with
wait,
like I don't know if
doesn't Disney own Sesame Street?
I don't actually
Well,
know.
I had a VHS. I had a VHS tape. For those who don't know what that is, it's a video. Um, uh, back in it was a 90s release. I can't remember what, a few of the adverts that popped up on those Disney VHSs, some of them were Sesame Street,
Interesting.
saying coming
They
soon to
might do.
video.
Yeah, I'll have to check if that one's on there. Yeah, a lot of the ones that are missing are
Mm,
like ones that where the people in them turned out to be monsters. Like the Chris Langham one isn't on there because Chris Langham turned out to be well, look it up if you want to know what he turned out to be. But yeah, it's understandable why that's not on there. But yeah,
yeah, I wonder if I'll have to check over my DVDs, see if Chris Langham is on that one.
I think he should be. Yeah, I think because that was before certain stuff came out about him. Um, yeah, so I think he
Ah,
should be. Yeah.
hmm
God, the Yoda
The
puppet's
funny
so
thing
full of
about Frank
life.
Oz is that he never. It is, and the funny thing about Frank Oz is that he never wanted to be a puppeteer. He always wanted to
Yeah,
be a director.
yeah,
But if you say Frank Oz, you'll always say, "Oh, the puppeteer." You'll never say, "Oh, the director."
exactly. Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He's I mean, he did direct a few, like he directed Little Shop of Horrors. He's acted in quite a few things
hmm
as well, like not as Yoda or Miss Piggy or anything. He most recently I saw him in he was in Knives Out, which is cool.
he was. Yeah, I know he's retired from the Muppets now,
He has, yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
but he's great. And I've said before, like it's my claim to fame that he's from Hereford. He's from my hometown, and nobody talks about
yeah.
it. No one fucking talks about it, which is weird to me. But
hmm I mean, there should be a plaque somewhere saying Frank Oz lived here or
there
something
should
like that.
be, there really should be. But like every time I've
Mhm.
told people that they're really shocked, and when I first found out, it was like, holy shit, really? Like I know you think there'd be more of a big deal made about it, but and there's a lot of 3PO humor in this. There's a lot of it, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's why I didn't again like we'll get onto it, but I didn't mind the Last Jedi for having humor because for me it was
hmm
no more egregious than the humor in this. And yeah, it's a dark film, but doesn't mean that you can't have some humor in there.
hmm Oh, definitely. I mean, what Han should have said here to get with Leia is, "I don't like snow. It's cold, wet, irritating, and it melts everywhere."
Oh, that would yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's weird. Like Leia's in her like snow outfit throughout all of this. Really, she's in quite a
hmm
big padded coat. Really, uh,
Yeah. But they still having their love affair, Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher.
I'm not sure. By this point, I'm not sure if that was something that broke off after the first one. Uh, I know they were still really
hmm
good friends. Obviously, I think that their affair had like they had never it had never breached their friendship. Really, they were still really good friends
Uh,
even when they were sleeping together.
so they were
Uh,
so they were friends with benefits,
yeah,
basically.
basically, yeah. It never really and once that all broke off, they very much remained very close. I think.
hmm And of course, this is another big special edition change. Ian McDiarmid as the Emperor, which I think he filmed when he was doing Revenge of the Sith, and a lot of people don't like this change, but I like it for continuity reasons.
Yeah, he filmed it when he
Yeah.
was doing Revenge of the Sith. You can kind of tell from the makeup; it does look very much
Mhm.
Revenge of the Sithy, and I like it for the sake of continuity. I do like having him in there. The one thing that bothers me is the dialogue change. I don't get why they changed the dialogue because
Yeah.
the opening crawl said Lord Vader is obsessed with finding Skywalker, but here Darth Vader's like, "Oh, this boy's the offspring of Anakin Skywalker," and he's like, "How is that possible? The young rebel who destroyed the Death Star." And it makes it seem like Vader doesn't know about Luke.
Mm,
It's just odd to me. Like I wish they kept the
Yeah.
dialogue the same. I wish they kept the dialogue the same. Other than that, I do like having McDiarmid there. But yeah.
hmm
Because the original was like a woman with chimpanzee eyes superimposed over her head, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It was very bizarre.
And the voice was done by Clive Revel, who
Clive
I
Revel,
think
yeah.
voiced Alfred in He did a few episodes voicing Alfred in Batman the Animated Series.
He did, yeah. He did the first 3 episodes, I think. First 4. He did the first couple anyway before.
And I think you can still hear them. You can still hear him on the first 3 episodes, can't you?
You can, yeah.
Mhm.
But interestingly, although Ian McDiarmid has replaced the Emperor, in most versions, and I think it's the same for this one, in the credits it still says voice of the Emperor, Clive Revill. So they've not removed his name.
Ah. Yeah, I love what Yoda's doing here. Basically pretending to be this wacky native. Yeah, playing the idea and just testing Luke's patience. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good.
And yeah,
really good stuff.
when you hear the word Yoda and when you hear Yoda and how he's a great warrior, you think he's going to be like a Dolph Lundgren type figure.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, He-Man type figure who's really buff and big, but no, he's just a tiny green alien. You could almost say it subverted my expectations.
It broke new ground. But yeah, no, it's a great subversion. It really is. And the way that character, although it's a puppet, the way that character conveys so much emotion through the expressions on that face is brilliant. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, the way he scowls up at Obi-Wan for speaking. Great. Oh my god, it reminds me a bit of The Lion King 2 when Rafiki's talking to Mufasa in the clouds, and he's like, "Are you crazy? This'll never work." Okay, Mufasa, I'll do it.
I will say though, if anyone, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have, but if anyone like me has seen the Seagulls "Stop It Now" song, this entire section of the film has been ruined forever. Because I can't watch these scenes without thinking, I hate Brenda and a bad guy kicked me in the shin. I pee all my pants. One day I was walking along and I saw this big log. And I lifted the log up and I found a tiny stick. And I thought, that log had a child. It's just so stupid, that video, but I love it. And I think that actually Yoda says there he's too old, and that makes sense in this because he's in his he's
early 20s. Yeah.
When they do it in the prequels, it doesn't make a lot of sense because Anakin's a kid, and it's just we spoke about it in the prequels. He's 9 years old. Yeah. Exactly. He's 9 years old. We spoke about it in the prequels. It's like, how young do you want them to be? Whereas here, it actually makes sense.
What's this? They're dropping bombs in space. Totally unrealistic. I'm gonna make a 6-hour video that's 6 parts long.
Yeah.
And each video is 6 hours each, saying how wrong you are for liking this movie.
there are, this is like you said, this is the scene I point to when people are like, bombs in space, The Last Jedi ruined Star Wars. It's like, have you actually watched Empire recently? Like, come on. And, I mean, yeah, we'll get onto that.
Have you... I usually don't use video games to justify a film, but have you played Star Wars video games? When you're in a spaceship and you can drop bombs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, have you actually done that?
Have you played those video games?
Yeah, by that logic, Luke shouldn't be able to... Yeah, by that logic, Luke shouldn't be able to fire the torpedo into the Death Star because there's no gravity in space.
For sure. Ugh. Yeah, for sure. It's Star Wars has never been scientifically accurate.
Yeah, if you want a scientifically accurate film, watch something like 2001 or Interstellar.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, to Interstellar's credit, when they cut to scenes in space, they don't have any sound, and Yeah, but if you did it here, it just with all the space battles, it'd just be really, really boring.
Oh, it would, yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute. Something's not right here. Hold up. Oh, now I get it. Now I get it. We should go.
I will say the
Yeah,
minor.
that's what I love about 3PO in this film. He just
Yeah.
keeps moaning, but no one listens to him or takes him seriously.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
hmm Now this, again, this giant worm thingy, this is a big puppet, isn't it?
It
When we see
is.
it on the outside.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
kind of looks like a sock puppet almost, in a good
it
way.
does, yeah. hmm
Yeah, like.
Bet that's got its own Wikipedia page.
Oh, it will have, and it'll be about three pages long.
Yeah, the great thing about all this Jedi training is that he never teaches him how to use a lightsaber
Yeah, yeah.
because he says a Jedi uses the Force for defense, not for attack.
Not for attack, yeah.
But then Luke, but then Luke breaks that rule later when he's the first person to get his lightsaber out.
Exactly, yeah, and it completely shows that he's not ready. He's not done yet. Yeah.
hmm Yeah.
Run, 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 jump. I can be a backpack while you run.
Luminous beings, are we? Not this crude matter. Ignore me when I was flipping about in the prequels.
Yeah. Ignore me when I was going.
Yeah. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, like I said in the prequels, giving Yoda a lightsaber, it's like giving Superman an airplane or Batman a gun.
Yeah.
They don't need one.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, but Zack Snyder did that in
Zack
Batman v
Snyder.
Superman, yeah.
Yeah, and make him wear a big trench coat because that doesn't look stupid at all.
Because it's edgy, bro. It's so edgy and cool.
Well, yeah. As of recording this commentary, the Justice League
Yeah.
Zack Snyder cut is coming out in what, 2 days, something like that.
2 days, and I've set it to record on my Skybox.
Oh.
I've cursed my Skybox because I've set it to record on there. So God knows when I'll actually watch it. It'll probably be sat on there for about 4 months, but it's waiting.
Yeah, I might get it if it comes out on Blu-ray ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have announced the Blu-ray release. I
But
think
if
they changed tactics because initially they were going to put it up as a 15 quid rent thing, but that now they've put it on like
Alright.
they put it on like Sky Cinema and Now TV and that as like a free thing, which is the only reason I'm watching it at all. Because if I had to pay for it, I wouldn't bother. But because it's free with the subscription, I'm like, why not?
Yeah, but I don't think we've had I'll say this, I don't think we've had a film, demand that a new version be released since probably Superman 2 with the Richard Donner cut.
Yeah, it's the situation's very similar to the Donner cut. The only thing is the Donner cut isn't 4 hours long. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I am genuinely interested in seeing how it is. I just watching pure Zack Snyder for 4 hours is not something that fills me with joy, but we'll see.
Yeah, if it does eventually come to Blu-ray, I think I'll just go out to HMV one day and I think I'll buy the theatrical cut and I'll buy the Snyder cut just to compare and contrast, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 2 versions of Superman 1 and 2, so might as well.
Yeah, exactly. I fully think it'll be a completely different film, but I'm not sure how much of that is just it being longer. Like, yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. And the fact that it's rated R as well, and the whole thing is supposed to be like, oh, Batman says fuck in it, and that's a big selling point, and it's just like, come on.
Yay.
That's not exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So that sequence
This is something that I've
up.
Yeah. But I love how it was shot because everything's moving slowly as if it's a dream.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, him seeing his own face, like, what does that mean?
I don't know, because as a kid, I watched it thinking like, what the hell am I watching? Like, I really had no idea what was going on, really. And yeah, it's interesting.
Now, knowing Lego Star Wars, I think it's Complete Saga. You can play as all these bounty hunters.
You can,
where you basically go through maps and you basically look for. I mean, I say that loosely. Look for. You just go through obstacles until you get to them.
Yeah.
You look for a bounty.
Yeah,
and it's a random character from the Star Wars universe.
It is, yeah, like the side missions. They were quite fun, actually. It was just cool to play. Yeah. Interesting fact about Bosk there. His suit is a recycled spacesuit from Doctor Who: The 10th Planet. So there you go.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Whack, whack.
It's Leia doing.
Now I know these sound effects of the Millennium Falcon. Yeah. Yeah, the Millennium Falcon going, making all those noises. That's actually used in Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
It is, yeah.
I think in the Joker's lair.
Yes, it is, yeah. It's one of those things, like, because every so often in a film, usually a fairly cheap film, you'll hear like Star Wars sound effects. And actually, in Doctor Who, even in Hal Bent, I haven't seen Hal Bent in ages, but that bit when they're in the when they're in that dark place and the characters sort of glide around them. I've not seen it in ages, but they have those weird character things that like glide around them, like the monsters. I hope that makes some sense. But they make TIE fighter noises. There you go. So yeah. But as I say, I've not seen Hal Bent since broadcast, so that's me describing a scene that I only have very vague memories of from 5 years ago. But I hope that makes sense to some people. I know Mark Hamill said that when he was working on this film, he felt like he was going mad because so many of the days were just him on this one set with no one to talk to but Frank Oz, and that was it. That was all he was.
Yeah.
It was just him on his own acting to puppets with like R2 as well, and yeah.
Mhm. Now Yoda's eyes are based on Albert Einstein, aren't they?
They are, and also they're a mix of Albert Einstein and Stuart Freeborn, who was one of the creature designers, I think. And if you look at pictures of Stuart Freeborn, like, he looks like Yoda. He looks like a real life version of Yoda.
these this puppet, it was used again in Phantom Menace, wasn't it, for the theatrical cut?
I think so, yeah, but
But it
yeah,
had deteriorated quite a bit, hadn't it?
yeah, it had. I'm not sure. Did they use did they refurbish the same one for the Last Jedi, or is that because that was they made a
I thought
huge
they made a
deal?
completely new one.
They might have done. Yeah, they made a huge deal about like bringing back Puppet Yoda in that, and I'm not sure if it was because there's footage of Mark
Hmm.
Hamill like walking onto set on the Last Jedi and seeing Puppet Yoda and just being like almost in tears with just the memories flooding back and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, this scene sums up for me what the Force is all about because Luke says, "I don't believe it," and Yoda says, "That's why you fail."
Yeah.
Yeah, the Force for me is about belief. I mean, it is a religion, isn't it? So
Oh yeah, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it's about having faith and believing in it. It shouldn't be about how much chemicals you've got in your blood or something like
Yeah.
that. That's not
It's
how the Force works.
this yeah, and this is absolutely like the definitive portrait of the Force, really.
Hmm.
Marge are as pretty as Princess Leia and as smart as Yoda.
I mean, that meme went around when Rise of Skywalker came out. In fact, I think oh god, I remember it was on Rock Bottom. Someone put Homer saying for Rise of Skywalker, "Wow, what an ending! Who'd have thought Rey was Palpatine's granddaughter?" And funnily enough, I actually dismissed. I hadn't seen the film yet, and I just dismissed it as, I bet it's just someone having a laugh. But then I joked to my friends when I was about to see it, saying, "Yeah, I bet Rey's Palpatine's granddaughter or something." And then it happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You're Ray
I really should have
Palpatine.
said, "Well, thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. Blow the Picture for me."
I always think of in Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. I always think of the Lego City bonus levels when I hear Yoda's theme because this is the theme they
Oh
play
yeah,
during those. Uh, like the whole
they do. Yeah,
gain however many studs by doing all sorts of activities around those levels. Yeah.
and it's so surreal building your own house with
Yes.
using the Force,
It is. Yeah.
opening windows with the Force, and I never got all the studs in that because I just couldn't be asked
Oh, it
just to
took
like
ages.
destroy everything or build everything.
It
Like
took
it's
so
not worth
long.
it.
No, it took so long, and I finally did it a few years last year, year before, when I 100%ed it. It took ages though. It took like multiple
Mm,
days for me to do it, and it didn't help that you couldn't save and quit, so you couldn't go back into it. You had to do it all in one sitting,
yeah.
which was so annoying.
Hmm.
God, Vader's killing off his men left and
Plus, I
right in
realised
this.
Vader. Yeah, and there's no Tarkin to hold him back. If Tarkin was
Yes,
there, just be saying, "Vader, release him."
exactly.
But
Yeah,
he is just going for it here. That's why I still think he's the main villain here
he is. Yeah,
in Empire. This is his movie.
absolutely. Yeah, he's he's a tour de force in this. Like he's a force to be reckoned with. It's
Mm.
brilliant.
There'll probably people complain about that as well if
Oh
this came
yeah,
out today.
absolutely. But
So the Empire, atop the most powerful force in the galaxy, can't detect a spaceship on the back of their own Star Destroyer. Fail!
but it makes a lot of sense though, like because the Falcon is the exact same color as the ships. It's got the same kind of uh,
Correct, yeah.
pattern, like the
hmm
workmanship and stuff. It's just yeah. So it is interesting watching these, like Han describe Lando now having seen Solo, because it
Mm,
definitely sort of
yeah.
yeah changes your perspective on it a little bit.
Yeah, I assume that's the. Yeah, I assume the last time he saw Lando was in Solo, I think.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe they've met in the
yeah.
meantime briefly. Because yeah.
Mm. I mean, I thought Donald Glover was a really good young Lando.
Oh, same. I love Donald Glover anyway. I think he's brilliant. But like, yeah, he was
Yeah.
fantastic as Lando. Really good. Oh, CGI shots there.
hmm
Which actually they blend pretty well, to be fair. They don't stick
Yeah,
out.
they do. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I like how every time we come back to them, they are progressing. For example, in the
Yeah,
first training scene, Yoda was on Luke's back. Then he was like on top of him. I mean, not in that way, but and now he's now obviously he's beside him.
good
But
shout.
it
Yeah.
shows that Luke is still not perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm yawning. No, sorry. Good shout actually, because
hmm
that's I've never picked up on that before, but it's a very good point because none of these training scenes, especially, are wasted at all. They're all crucial,
hmm
and
Yeah.
they all completely matter. You never feel like there's any padding in this. I think it's all just
hmm
everything is sort of perfectly paced and cut, and yeah.
hmm Yeah, Yoda reminds me a lot of Kermit the Frog. He looks about as alive as Kermit the Frog,
He
even
does.
though I don't. Kermit's eyes never move, but yeah, they both just look so alive.
He's a green little creature that lives in a swamp. uh,
hmm
yeah, no, I agree though that, and it's all down to the talent of the puppeteers, and people overlook that. People overlook
Yeah,
the talent of the puppeteers behind those because it's not something anyone can do. It's puppeteering is acting, really, isn't it?
it is hard to do. Yeah,
Because it is
no,
acting.
it is
Yeah,
hard to do. Yeah,
yeah, and it yeah,
having done it a lot of times in the past. Yeah.
and
hmm
it's overlooked. I actually kind of compare it to voice acting. Both are quite overlooked by the general public, I think,
hmm
because it's such a
Yeah.
Yeah, the more work goes into it than I think people realise.
Yeah, because I've done puppeteering in a pantomime,
Mm.
and it was hard because the puppet was on set, on stage, and on set with me. So know, I had to make it look quite obvious that this was a living creature and it wasn't just me moving my hand around. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the important thing is to look at the puppet because the eyes are a main source of contact. So if you're looking at it, the entire audience is going to look at it and not you.
for sure. It's yeah.
That is the secret to puppeteering.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first, folks. That's
Mm,
never let it be said that these commentaries don't provide education.
I think when you go to the movies, you should learn something.
Yeah, so it's here. Like when they shot this scene, the night before they were partying at Mick Jagger's house, and like insane,
Ah,
insane like amounts of
Mick
celebrities were
Jagger's.
there and rock stars and doing all sorts of drugs and drinking all sorts of stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, you can kind of see it that they're a little bit worse for wear here because it was the morning after.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Mick Jagger's house, that's the same house used in Pyramids of Mars, isn't it, in Doctor Who?
Yeah, it
The
is. Yeah,
exterior for that, anyway.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean some of those parties in the 80s with like big actors and big musicians and stuff and big like figures in pop culture must have been wild. Like I can't imagine
Hmm.
some of the stuff that went on at those parties. So
Yep. Yeah, I can remember people with Force Awakens and Last Jedi, I mean, not really criticising, but I think questioning where's Lando? And
yeah,
um, and I can see why, because he is a important part of the last two films in this. But well, I was just responding with, well, do we need him back?
yeah,
Like, does the
exactly.
story demand it?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It didn't bother me like at the time, and it still doesn't bother
yeah.
me now. Like he came back in Rise of Skywalker. It's nice to see him again. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't do much, and I think that speaks to like we didn't need him there
Mm-hmm.
really. But I liked that he was there, and yeah, it didn't bother me in the first two sequels that he wasn't there really.
Mm,
Yeah, just like it didn't bother me that Yoda wasn't there in the Force Awakens. Like it just yeah,
yeah.
there's a time and a place for them, I think, and yeah.
Right, who shoots 3PO here? Is it? Oh yeah, is it a stormtrooper or
It's I don't know. It's implied to be a
is it?
stormtrooper, I think.
Just well, the guy does say, "Who are you?"
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
like he's some
voice.
kind of.
Yeah,
Just reminds me of when Homer walks into that bar and that guy says, "Yeah, what do you want? A beer?" Okay then.
well, that voice actually is a special edition change because the voice is different to the theatrical version, and I think in the theatrical version it sounds more
Oh,
like a stormtrooper, but in this one it sounds like an alien, really.
mhm. Ah, maybe it's the "I don't like you either" guy.
Yeah, it's
It could be. I don't like you either.
it definitely could be. The cave. Remember your failure at the cave.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten.
Ah.
Yeah, Stitch and Yoda, they're related.
Oh yeah.
I mean, their grammar's terrible.
Yeah. That well, yeah, they have something in common, you know.
Yep.
with the Force as an ally will conquer Vader.
Make it the Shmishka. I like Fluffy. I'm surprised Alec Guinness did agree to come back, because
Same, yeah.
he kind of wanted to do the first film and that was it really, but as we said last time, it's probably his most well-known role now.
Yeah, and not just this one. This one. I'm German now apparently. Not just this one, but the Return of the Jedi as well. He came back for that, and it's weird. Like, yeah. It's. I am surprised that he agreed to do it, considering his sort of view of Star Wars over the years. But yeah. When did he pass away?
2000, something like that, late 90s,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
That's brilliant. I love how that shot. No, there is another.
Yeah. I have the Force too, you know. This is special edition as well.
Yeah,
I think it's alright just to show like Cloud City off.
Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, it's I do quite like the added windows to Cloud City in the special edition. It does blend pretty well, and
yeah, I like that as well.
yeah.
Well,
The only thing is, in one of the shots, there's a huge continuity error because in one shot it's been replaced with windows, and in the next shot it's back to the original, and they haven't altered it, and it's odd. So one of my favourite extras in the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga was you could toggle having the option when you're playing as Chewbacca to have 3PO on your back as an option.
yeah,
Which is really
but
cool.
it doesn't do anything.
Oh, it doesn't do anything. It just looks funny.
Yeah. And also you can make those custom characters from different designs and things like that. Darth. I remember the trailer for that. Play as Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Darth 3PO.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
We would be honoured if you would join us. The Robot Chicken sketch shows what happens in that.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
And it's literally Darth Vader, Han Solo, Boba Fett, Chewie and Leia having dinner.
Yeah, just having a pleasant dinner. Yeah. Yeah, so here they're going down the stairs. In the background there's that giant window. And they go into here. But if you look behind them, when all the stormtroopers come back, it's back to the original, without the window. Do you see that? Like it's the window's gone.
There it is.
It's just like a massive continuity error. It's like why? Yeah.
Yeah, why bother adding it if you're just gonna do that?
I always find it funny, like in most like VHS and DVD and Blu-ray copies of this, the front cover like and the artwork for this was always like stormtroopers, and they were like the big sort of
It
image
was,
of this.
yeah.
And I know, and like, it's probably the film that they're in the least out of the three.
It is, yeah.
And I guess it's just meant to represent like the Empire, but still, it's they're not in it that much. Peter Mayhew's acting is really underrated as well. Like, he brings so much personality to Chewie.
Yeah. He has to do a lot to bring the physicality to Chewbacca, and he really succeeds, yeah.
And the new guy they've got doing it is really good as well. Junus Satamo. He's really good as Chewbacca.
That's it, yeah.
He's very much a worthy successor.
Was Peter Mayhew only in The Force Awakens?
He was in The Force Awakens for scenes where
be wrong.
Chewie was sitting down. He was so like the bit where Chewie's like lying down and getting bandaged up was Peter Mayhew, because he didn't really have to do anything because he was really getting old by that point. So anytime Chewie's walking or running, it's Junus Satamo, but anytime Chewie is sat down, it's Peter Mayhew, which is nice that they got him in for, even if it was brief. What does this torturing machine actually do?
Looks like it's going to give him a suntan.
Yeah, basically. He's no good to me, Dad. Yeah, it isn't quite as good as he's no good to me, Dad. Like, it's not quite as good.
Yeah. What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
Yeah. What if he doesn't
The original
survive?
voice was so much better.
He's worth a lot to me. Yeah, it just doesn't have the same hit, really. But really, and like, this is the start of the fans' obsession with Boba Fett, even though he does, until The Mandalorian, he does nothing. The Mandalorian is literally the first time we see him do anything.
I know.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Because he does look really cool.
The most he does here is he tracks them to Bespin, but it's practically the Empire who freezes Han and just says, "He's yours now."
Yeah. And he does definitely look cool. It's just, I am shocked that it took us 40 years to actually get a piece of content that does something.
Was Boba Fett's original design supposed to be for Vader?
Yeah, he was, yeah. And I think that there are like early concepts of like the stormtroopers and Vader that are just basically Mandalorian helmets. And the Mandalorian helmets were going to be kind of the first designs for those, and it just evolved and made its debut in the holiday special, and then got added to this.
Didn't Joe Johnston design Boba Fett?
I believe so, yeah. I believe he did, yeah. Which is a really cool fact, really cool bit of trivia. So I don't know if you've ever seen interviews with Billy D. Williams.
I just remembered
Milton.
I was just going to say Milton Johns, who was in Doctor Who 3 times in Enemy of the World, Android Invasion, and Invasion of Time. He's in this briefly as a Imperial officer. I think he says ship approaching X-wing class.
Oh, nice.
I always remember him as Mr. Rossiter from the Basil Brush Show. Come on, open up. I know you're in there. I'll phone the landlord. No, wait a minute. I am the landlord. You've got 1 week to pay your rent or you're out. Out. Do you hear me? Out. Ta-ta.
I always remember in Enemy of the World, he's a really creepy villain, isn't he? Like, he's really sort of... he's got that weird look about him. Really cool.
There he is.
There he is, yeah. You see the back of his head.
That's it.
You
Yeah.
never know it was him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you heard interviews with Billy D. Williams around this time?
No, I don't think I have. No.
He had no idea what he was
Mhm.
in. Basically, he just had no idea.
Mm.
Like there are interviews where he's like, "Oh, so I'm with those robots, what three CPO? Yeah, they're pretty cool." Like he just has no idea what he's in.
Yeah, that's what I like about the original actors. It's like they're aware they're in something that is quite silly and quite childish, but
Yeah,
obviously they still take it seriously, but they know when to have a laugh. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So this scene is one of my favorites in film history. I think this scene is I get goosebumps every time that exchange
hmm
happens that we're gonna get in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love how Han says to Chewie, it won't help me. There's no point in doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
And it even helps to put the restraints on him. Oh,
And here we go.
I love you. I
I
know.
know. Ah, here we go.
The
Oh,
Family Guy version. I love you. Fuck off.
yeah. Oh man, like so good though, like and improvised by Harrison Ford. Well, not improvised, but like that line was Harrison
It
Ford's,
was, yeah.
all Harrison Ford, because originally he was going to say "I love you too," but Harrison Ford was like, "Han wouldn't say that. Han,
hmm
that's not Han."
Yeah.
And
hmm
it created one of the best moments in film history. Like, gives me goosebumps every time. And the music as well. Vader's face
hmm
appearing through the smoke. How the music gets kind of twisted and
Yeah.
oh, it's brilliant. I love it.
hmm It when you're making um when you're making ice pops in the freezer, this music should play through your head.
Yeah, it's basically
When you're
what's
pouring
happening.
that water into the cubes, yeah.
There's a really cool T-shirt that I've seen some people wearing where it's Indiana Jones discovering like Han Solo and carbonite in some tomb somewhere.
hmm
It's a really cool T-shirt.
hmm
So Harrison Ford is well known. He originally wanted Han to die there. That was originally going to be the end of Han,
He did, yeah.
but he didn't. George,
I can now use that as quote unquote proof that this film is terrible because an actor disagreed with the director,
oh yeah,
even though that happens in 95% of film and TV.
yeah, actors aren't.
But I'll use that to justify my hate boner. Yep,
Actors and crew members aren't slaves to the director. They can disagree on something, but
exactly.
it's their job to continue on with it. It's they can but it's their job to
It
continue on with
doesn't.
it. But
It
they
doesn't prove
yeah
to you that a film is bad.
exactly
Yeah,
yeah because people have opinions. Yeah, and it might
yeah,
but
exactly.
yeah, and it's yeah.
hmm
Though it is odd, like because George Lucas was like, "Oh no, I've got plans for Han in the third film," and in
hmm
the third film, Han does nothing. He really doesn't do anything.
Well, I mean, in the sequel trilogy, he has a son.
Oh, in the sequel trilogy, yeah, absolutely. But like it's just odd to me that like that they
Mhm.
made a big thing about we've got plans for Han, so we're going to keep him alive for number 3, and in number 3 he just doesn't do much.
Mhm.
Now that actor for Lobot, he's popped up in other things,
Mhm.
isn't he?
He has,
Let
yeah.
me look him up.
I think. Now
Yeah,
that Imperial officer who's dragging Leia away, that's Jeremy Bulloch, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, very cool little cameo.
I think, yeah. Who's also Boba Fett.
Yeah.
hmm
Oh, that's it. He's in the Superman films.
That's it, yeah.
He's one of the Alters and Krypton, and he's in the Mutants, Doctor Who,
Ah,
and he's in Doctor Who: The Mutants.
he is. He's Professor Sondergaard. Is that his
Sondergaard,
name? The
yeah,
guy in the weird radiation suit.
yeah,
Yeah,
Sondergaard. The Mutants is underrated. I quite like. Well, I don't mind the Mutants. It's all right.
it's got good ideas, but it should have been a four-parter.
Oh yeah, absolutely should have been a 4-parter.
Yeah,
God, the way this is shot is brilliant. It's the imagery's fantastic.
yeah. You're not a Jedi yet. You're getting there. You're getting there, though.
Getting the Jedi.
Yeah, I adore this fight. It's my favorite duel.
Yeah, same. It's
It's my
fantastic.
favorite duel, and I even love how Vader he just uses one hand because he knows he could easily kick Luke's ass and just kill him right there, but he toys with him just to
Yeah,
see how strong he really is.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
it is so perfect.
there's very clearly a point in the fight as well where Vader sort of goes, "Nah,
hmm
enough now." Like you can see how Vader's anger gets
Yeah.
progressively like more intense as it goes along because he starts off using one
hmm
hand, then he goes to 2 hands, then at a point where Luke's sort of pissing him off, he starts really his moves get really violent, and he starts like pulling no punches at all, and I really like
I
that
think
progression.
when yeah, I think when Luke nips him in the shoulder, he's like, right, that's it.
Yeah,
No more
yeah.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Ooh. Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's probably muttering, you little shit.
Yeah. I really like as well that that Solo made Billy D. Williams' mispronunciation of Han into a little character quirk because they have that in Solo as it's
hmm
Lando does it on purpose to wind Han up, and that's why he can't pronounce it. And I like that they made it into a character quirk, even though obviously originally it was just Billy D. Williams not
hmm
being able to say it. But
hmm Yeah,
God,
that's added.
yeah,
I think they were just originally running in a corridor, weren't they? And now it's a balcony.
they were, yeah, and I like the balconies because it definitely helps sort of break up
hmm
it break up the place a bit. But God, like that scene where it's like they're on the
Yeah.
balcony a little bit is like, as someone who's attempted rotoscoping before, that must have taken hours because they would have had to cut out every frame and like Chewie's fur as well. That must have taken ages for them to replace that background.
hmm
Yeah, like at this point, Vader's very much casually like, "What are you doing, mate? Like, come on, I'm beating you
Hmm.
so easily."
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I could
yeah,
crush you. I could crush you with my little finger.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And like I say, as it goes on, he becomes more and more sort of angry and
Hmm.
ooh.
Yeah, like,
And something
I
I
don't think either Vader or the Emperor realised that Yoda is still alive because
no.
he keeps thinking that Obi-Wan trained him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a good point. Yeah.
Hmm.
Interestingly, like I didn't mention it, but the lightsaber effects have improved massively since the first one because there's no jump cut anymore when they open. They're now it's now a really smooth
Yeah,
effect.
true.
It's just a smooth light effect, and they've improved massively.
Yeah, because then plus I like how in this and the sequel trilogy they kind of they um they shimmer and look like they're alive, whereas in
Yeah,
the prequels they just look like glow sticks.
yeah, exactly. They flicker, don't they? Yeah, they sort of yeah. It's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. I mean, come on! Like as soon as people saw lightsabers back in 1977, like every kid wanted one, and every adult wanted one too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mhm. I still want one.
Oh yes, but the problem is, you just
I'd definitely go with yeah. I'd definitely go with green.
same here. Yeah, I definitely go with green. Yeah, but you just know there'd be so
Hmm.
many cases of people like cutting off their own hands, playing with it.
Ow. I would give my right hand for this day to just end. I mean, the dark side also has a policy of no homers. Sorry, not you, Homer. My nerd! But you let in Homer Glumplet? It says no homers. We're allowed to have one. Oh. That's added as. This is added as well, isn't
It's
it?
all added,
Everyone
yeah.
in Cloud City listening to his announcement. That's a nice touch, I think, as well.
It is, yeah. It looks a bit too polished, but like, yeah, it is a decent. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm.
And this is
I
like,
remember in the Lego game, when you got to this level, there were just random people running around, weren't there, with
yes,
their hands in the air,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you could just shoot them.
yeah. It was hilarious.
That's a bit cool.
So this like top five soundtracks in the saga, like this escaping from Cloud City, it's brilliant,
Hmm.
and it's so catchy too. Like
Yeah, definitely.
I know that I'm gonna have this in my head for the next few days. Now I've watched this. Next few days, all it's gonna be is da
Hmm.
da 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 da. Like it's brilliant.
Hmm.
God, the stormtroopers are useless.
I know.
They're so useless.
Have we ever hit anybody with these guns? I hit a bird once.
And that C-3PO stuff there is very nicely balanced, because if there was too much of it, it could really take all of the tension out of this.
Mm, yeah.
But it really
It's
doesn't.
not like Jar Jar saying, big boomer!
Yes, yeah.
Ugh. Well, we already went through
Yeah,
that.
exactly, yeah.
Wasn't Bob Anderson in the suit when he was doing the sword, when Vader was doing the sword fights?
I
I
believe so, yeah.
think.
Yeah, I believe so.
Mm.
Yeah, like here, look, Vader's so aggressive suddenly and so sort
Mm.
of angry,
Yeah,
and
he is riling on him.
it's
What he
clearly,
should have done is
yeah.
he should have done a third Doctor style fighting and be like, Akia! Like, that is it. I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's best in property.
Hike.
I've always felt that violent exercise makes me hungry. Here, Luke should have said, "Ah, yes, but you haven't seen the quality of my footwork yet." Oh, I felt that.
Oh yeah.
Plus, also the pillar thing that he cut open there. It's almost like what the inside of his stump will now look like. Just like
Yeah, charred
a
and
a
yeah,
bony stump now.
yeah, yeah. That is the good thing. Like
Because we don't see his hand, but that just gives you a visual reference.
that is the good. Like cutting off your limbs with a lightsaber is a lot better than cutting it off with a blade, because it instantly cauterizes the wound. So it's instantly like
That is true, yeah.
it's not gonna bleed. You're not gonna bleed out.
Here it comes.
He told me you killed
I am your father.
and a pop culture landmark was born. That's an
Yeah.
absolute
Mhm.
in the history of popular culture. That moment is hands down the most. Would you say it's the most famous twist ever in cinematic
Mhm.
history?
Probably, yeah. I think it's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Of course, it's widely known that in the first special edition, they added a scream
oh
to this
yeah, I've heard it.
bit. Yeah, and it's just the
And
recycled Emperor scream from
it's
Return
the
of the
Emperor's
Jedi.
scream.
Yeah, it's just recycled.
Yeah, the yeah. Like, oh, that is so stupid. Like, not to sound dark, but when you willingly throw yourself off
Yeah,
something, when you willingly want to commit suicide, you don't scream, I
yeah.
think.
Is that
Yeah.
is
Oh.
is the equivalent of like in Back to the Future 2 when Marty steps off the building and lands on the DeLorean? It's like the equivalent of adding a scream there.
hmm He, his legs landed on that iron bar
Ooh,
there. That must have hurt.
yeah.
And yeah, it's here Luke realizes, Yoda and Obi-Wan were right, because I think he even says, Ben, please. Like saying, I know you said you can't help me, but I need your
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's failure, and in many ways, it does touch on the same themes as The Last Jedi of like failure and learning from failure.
Yeah, everyone in this
Yeah,
fails.
yeah. It's much more overt in that one, but yeah, absolutely.
coming up here's another edition. It's the original line is "Bring me my shuttle" or something like
Yeah,
that, but here it's "Alert my Star Destroyer."
which is so much like that original line, "Bring my shuttle." Like, it communicated so much anger and frustration. This one, it's one, it's not actually James Earl Jones, and you can tell. And two, it just it clunks it up. It's nowhere near as impactful. Alert my Star Destroyer to prepare for my arrival. Like, it's just the original line was so much better. And also the change coming up where we've got an added scene of Vader on his shuttle. For me, that just breaks up the flow of this scene.
Yeah, it does a bit. Yeah,
it's just the deleted scene from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, him landing on. Yeah, him landing on the Star Destroyer. Oh, I thought it was actually used in Return of the Jedi when he lands on the Death Star.
Oh, it might be. Yeah, it might be. But it just doesn't, like, because we're with these characters at this point. It's supposed to be we're with them on their escape, and adding that in just breaks that up. It's just.
I know there is a deleted scene where Luke and Leia talk a little. Luke goes, "A bounty hunter."
Yes,
yes,
yeah.
Boba Fett.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a scene from Return of the Jedi, because you
can
just see at the end of it the Admiral coming up to greet him.
It might be, yeah. I always thought it was a deleted scene
shot from a different angle.
Shot from a different angle, yeah. Yeah, like we're in this big exciting action scene, and then just stops, and it's not good. Those shots of the planets there remind me so much of the shots from Alien. They told me they fixed it.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault. I love Chewie, like, in anger. It's just like punching the.
Yeah, like.
Interestingly, if you look at their badges there, you can see they flicker a bit, and it's because they've been digitally moved. Because originally they were on the wrong side, so they had to digitally correct that.
Oh. Well, yeah, the only reason they're all saved here is because of R2.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because he fixes the hyperdrive or something like that. Yeah.
I know a lot of people aren't a fan of this cross-cutting here, because it's like quick dissolves. A lot of people aren't a fan of that. A lot of people sort of say it should have just been cut, but I quite like the quick dissolves, because it sort of stamps its mark on it being a communication through the Force.
Yeah. I can only imagine the gap between Empire and Jedi. I bet so many people would have thought Vader has to be lying or something like that.
I mean, the balls on them to leave it for 3 years. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, see you in 3 years. Like, we're gonna leave this.
Yep. Imagine if people had to wait 3 years between Infinity War and
Oh
Endgame. It'd be
man,
like
yeah.
that.
That's that. No,
Yeah.
that is literally how it'd be. I can't imagine waiting that long.
Mhm. And I do like this here. The Falcon gets away, and there's like that look from Piet where he's like terrified. He's like,
Yeah,
"Shit, am I gonna die
he's
now?"
like
But
shit,
Vader simply walks away.
and they're all
And yeah,
terrified of
there's a
Vader.
hint that
Yeah,
there might be. Yeah, there's a hint that there might be some good left in him.
yeah, exactly.
And yeah, Family Guy pointed this out. Why is Lando wearing Han's clothes
He
here?
actually is. Yeah, it's really odd. It's really weird.
Like, maybe that's Han's pilot clothes. And he just thought, oh, I'll put these on if I'm driving the Falcon.
I am Han Solo now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really odd.
Is it a disguise? Yeah.
So this is odd. Like they say, "Oh, meet you on the rendezvous point on Tatooine," but by the time Jedi comes around, it seems like a few years have passed.
I always thought a year had passed between this and Jedi, so
Yeah.
what the hell were they doing?
Well, yeah, that's it. Because he
Were they that bad at their job?
yeah, because you listen to the end of this and it's like, oh, they're going straight to rescue Han, but like, there's definitely a gap. There's most definitely a time gap.
And also, Pirates of the Caribbean 2 more or less took its ending from this, where one of the main characters has to be rescued at the start of the third film,
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
ready for the final battle or something like that. Yeah.
But well, I mean, lots of as we discussed earlier, lots of things took their inspiration from this. In terms of
A lot of second films
yeah,
in a trilogy end on a dour note.
yeah,
Yeah.
or end on a cliffhanger. Yeah, it's
The Dark Knight does. Trying to think of some more. Back to the Future Part 2 does, because
definitely
Marty
yeah,
has to go rescue Doc.
definitely yeah,
Trying to think of some other examples.
yeah.
So that was The Empire Strikes Back. It's alright, I guess.
Nah, it's alright. Not one of my favourites. No, I
Yeah.
kid.
Nah, in all seriousness, yeah, favourite Star Wars film ever, ever, ever.
Yeah, it's
And
yeah,
can we stop? And can we stop putting all the other films that came after it to such a high standard? Because if I hear another Star Wars film saying it's the best since Empire,
best
I'm
since
going to say
Empire.
I don't believe you.
yeah, yeah. It's my second favourite. The first one, I think it's the best. Like it's the best, but the first one is my favourite. But this is absolutely just fantastic. Like it's how you should do a sequel, and it's influenced the method of doing sequels. In terms of just upping the ante, expanding the universe, giving us more time with the characters, and as you say, sort of upping the stakes and having it be a bit more dour and yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I believe if you look here, it does say Clive Revel as the voice of Emperor Clive Revel.
Yeah, voice to the Emperor Clive Revel.
Even though he isn't in this, in this version anyway. But yeah, and I definitely, if it came out today, it would. I actually think it would have been possibly as hated as The Last Jedi, like come close anyway.
Maybe, yeah.
It would have come close because there's a lot in there that the sequels do repeat, and people had a problem with the sequels for that this does, and yeah, interesting to think about. But it doesn't take away from this one though, because it's a masterpiece and it will continue to be a masterpiece.
It certainly will, yeah.
And
But yeah,
yeah,
nothing will ever top this film as the best Star Wars film. It is fantastic.
it absolutely is, and it's a testament, like, because everyone always, like I said earlier, everyone always goes, it's the Empire Strikes Back of the franchise now, like, even when it's not Star Wars. And the
Yeah.
fact that a film has made that kind of impact, and now every sequel strives to be Empire. Every single sequel strives to be Empire.
Well, this commentary is the Empire Strikes Back of commentaries. Yeah.
This commentary is definitely. You might say that our last commentary was the A New Hope of commentaries. Yeah, chew on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, applaud all these visual effects artists as well, because they absolutely did what they should have done, and which is they expanded their work on the first one. They cleaned it all up, and they
did
improved on it in every way, really. And like you said earlier, it still holds up. And the special edition edits for it are a lot more subtle. They're, like you said, they're the least. It's the least changed film, and I think what changes are there. Although there are some bad ones, like we mentioned earlier, the whole Vader shuttle thing. It's it's a hell of a lot better than episode 4 and 6 for changes. That's for sure. And
it is, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Special edition. Rick McCallum.
It's so dense.
It's so dense. Gary A. Rizzo, the rat from the Muppets, clearly worked on it.
Light the lamp, not the rat. Light the lamp, not the rat. Gonzo? Is that you, Gonzo? Boy, it sounds like you're coming up with a cold there. Let me just light a match.
I'd like.
Oh, please, no, I hate basketball.
Oh, please, no, I hate trying to CGI old films. But, yeah. So.
Mostly shot in England, yeah, there we are.
It was, yeah, mostly shot in England. Yeah.
Gajunkland.
Norway. But, yeah.
Just shot in Norway, we'll say that.
Shot in.
That's all for Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, what we'll be doing next week. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but for the sake of the bit.
We'll be back next week with Return of the Jedi, episode 6.
We will indeed look forward to that. In the meantime, go check out Isaac's channel and indeed the rest of our commentaries. We've got quite a few commentaries on various things at this point, so go check them out. Hope you enjoyed it.
We do, yeah.
Like, subscribe, comment. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.